Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tim, and I have a little time before I have to go live tonight, so I'm testing out the equipment. And I thought I would do a quick, short term technical analysis on Bitcoin, real quick, like. So I hope you all are ready for the time of your life. Okay, here we go. Just looking at what's going on over here, we have a nice upward trend right here. Let's see, pretty much map it out similar to this. I like to use the arrows. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I don't know why. Just enjoy it. You do you. You know what I mean? Alright, so now we have this upward trend like this, right? It's very clear and defined. What I like to do is I like to get it lined up where I could see it's touching where it's touching the tops of the candles, which it's not really doing right now. I can adjust it though. Here, I'm trying to move it to where y'all can see it. Okay, so let me adjust this. Alright, so that's about, it's touching multiple places along this, upward trend lines, the resistance of the trend. Now let's move this. I press control and double clicked on the line, and it just does a perfect mirror image of it, so that way it's the same angle and everything. And a lot of times trends act that way. If the trend isn't like that, it's called it's not really you can get or bullish or bearish depending on if it's a I can't remember what they call it, this terminology. I'm really bad with the names, but the I'll remember. Let me think about it. But it's when the instead of this, guys, it's this. Okay, and whenever the that's a bullish. Whenever it's going up like that, it's obviously if it's gonna bounce off the bottom and hit the top, it's gonna keep getting wider because this is a bullish. This is a bullish pattern. I can't remember the exact name for it, but if you see the candles respecting the lines like this, that's bullish, guys. So just FYI, but that's not the case right now. What we have is an upward trend, which is still fine. I mean, we have a clearly defined trend that's working to our favor right now, and we're very close to another all-time high, guys, which is positive. I mean, we're very close, but it's not going to be that easy. We're going to have to really push to break above, what is it, 58,250, I think. So what we really need to do is keep this trend alive, which it very well could. We could visit this bottom line again before we do eventually break up through it. Guys, I can really see this happening. Look, it got so close to getting bearish. When this orange line crosses below that blue line, it's bearish. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but what I do have as far as good news is that blue line is holding up. Look, one bounce, two bounce, three bounce, and now we're having a positive gains, and that could be from a number of things, guys. It could be from the stimulus being approved. There's a lot of things going on with Bitcoin right now that a lot of outside things going on. Elon Musk is all involved. It's really hard. I mean, I could still TA is still valid, guys. Look, that's a perfect trend. You can't deny it. I mean, there's we're respecting the 200 MA. There's TA works unless till it doesn't work, guys. It's not 100% foolproof. It's not always perfect. That's not the way. That's not the point of TA. TA is to get an edge on the market, and that's what I use it for. It's like instead of using a hammer, using a nail gun. It's just like if you get a little edge, and if you can use the indicators to your advantage, go for it. I don't care what anybody says. If you're making money, you're doing it right. And since we got so close to being bearish right here, if that orange line crosses the blue line, it could be seen as quite bearish across the board, and people might sell their positions just because of that. And that's called a death cross when the 50 MA crosses below the blue line, and it just actually happened not too long ago, guys. Look down here, look. But it was a real quick happen, and it came back, and I think the bulls realized, oh man, that people might interpret this as bearish if we stay under here very long. So it stayed really close to the line, and we even tested it a few times, but it held. And I think that had a lot to do with it too. The market said, hey, that 50 MA is holding, and it's reversed the death cross back to a golden cross. A golden cross is when the 50 MA crosses back above the blue line, which is the 200 MA. But this is a 4-hour chart, guys. You have to remember that. The daily chart is much more significant in my opinion. So as far as the results, like if you see a Head and Shoulders on the daily chart, is going to be a much more of an effect as far as the price movement compared to the 4-hour. And that goes for almost any pattern you see. You know, cup and handle. If you see cup and handle on the 4-hour, it's not going to have as much of a oomph as it would if you saw a cup and handle on the daily, for instance, and maybe even bigger on the weekly. You know, I'm not 100% about that. I just don't have very much experience with the weekly because I've only been trading and reading the charts for about 2 years. So, I mean, you only have you only have so much data from Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is still a baby compared to a lot of stocks. So, stocks, you can go back to 100 years, you know, and that's a ton of data that you can look at the past. And people are always like, well, past results don't indicate what the future is going to be. And that's true. But looking at past patterns and stuff like that can give you an idea of how the market reacts in certain situations. And it is helpful. I don't care what anybody says. You know what? If you don't like doing it, don't do it. But this is the way I do things, and this is the way I teach my clients and everything. So if you want to learn the way I trade, then, do it my way. If not, go. I mean, like I said, every trader's different. I don't insult anybody for doing it their way. In fact, I encourage it. But don't insult my, methods because they work. My risk management is my risk reward ratio. I don't know the perfect wording for it. I have it really bad with the terminology in trading. I need to get better with it. But when the way I do it is I always put risk above most other things. You know what I mean? I always say, hey, is this a risky time to get in? Is this a good time to get in? Is this a great time to get in? Dude, what's the profit going to look like? You know, if even if I have a dip right here after I buy, or do I think another bounce is in order? If we can break through this support, this resistance right here, that's a big deal, guys. If we do, I think 60K is definitely within reach. But right here is whenever you want to buy, so that way you can maximize your profit, right? Well, what do you got to do after you buy? You know what? The first thing you need to do is what I always tell everyone to do, is set a stop loss. Well, where do I set a stop loss, Tim? Well, look at all of this. This is giving you hints all up and down here. You can see there was some minor glitch right here at about 56,500, because you can see we went down, came back up. So it's like we fell through support, retested it, and then fell again and did the same thing all the way down. That's a perfect example of how TA works, guys. It's just in a nutshell. Here, let me turn the crosshairs back on and just show you what I mean a little closer up. Alright, so it's not always perfect, like I said, guys, but use the basics of TA, and you will. Learning support and resistance alone will help you make much better trades. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys. Look, this is support, in my opinion. I'm going to press that button. Come on. There we go. If you hold shift, it'll make a very straight line. Okay, so this is support and resistance. Look. We had support here when we finally had our all-time high right here at about 58,250 is where it was, I believe. Let me see. Well, wait a minute. The high was 58,350. So yeah, we were a little higher than I thought. But hey, that was close. But we were above this line and came back below it. Look, and then we retested it. That candle wick, that one wick right there shows me that this was resistance and support. And I know what else does. Look, we came over here, even though the wick went above it, there's still evidence that this is still in play. You know what I mean? And this is probably, even if we 2 weeks from now we're up in here at 60K and come back down, this could come into play again. You know what I mean? That's how trading works, guys. You need to keep all that in mind. And even though it's not the best defined support, like I would say, let's see if we can find some really good. Here's a good. Even though people like to think of support as a nice straight line, that's not always the case, guys. Look, we have a nice, clearly defined support all the way up this. Even though, you know, sometimes the wicks will go below it, guys. That's not the end of the world, though. Just, you're going to have to roll with the punches, I suppose is the best way, because trading is not perfect. Sometimes you're going to have those wicks that dip below the line. But ultimately, look, I mean, support was all the way through here, basically. I mean, here, I could even, I'm sorry, guys, my computer's a little slow. I guess when OBS is running, it goes a little slow because, it's not like the top of the line gaming computer, you know. But, here, like, you can even do it like this, guys, because, look, even though the candles go below it, it's almost like we're wrestling with this line the whole way up. And Todd Blackburn taught me that is a good way to do things. Look, the 50 MA is what we were really respecting the whole way up. Even though we weren't necessarily tapping it, look, it held there, held here. You know what I mean? And when we did finally fall through it, we really hit the crap right there. That was a bad time. But we also defined resistance right here. Learned that 56,000 or 55,250 is definitely resistance and support. But you know what I mean? There's a lot of things to look forward to right now in the market as far as I'm concerned. I'm not really trying to teach anybody. I'm getting ready to do a course or a live with my clients for the course I do, and I figured I would get some airtime in and possibly do a live short-term TA, and I feel like I might do a little bit more of these when I get in the mood. I mean, they're not really benefiting me in any other way except for the exposure, I suppose. But like I said, I'm not the best on the mic. I'm sorry. I'm not like, I'm not great like The Rock on WWE or whatever. But I mean, I'm getting better and more comfortable talking to you guys as time progresses. So I think I'll get better. I'm not. Believe me, Joe Blackburn, he's really great on the mic. I wish I could talk like he does, but I'm just not as good, you know what I mean? I try my best, but, you know, there's a lot on this chart right here that's very telling, but let's go look at the daily, too. At 200 MA on the 4-hour is very, I like it. Look, we have 4 solid green candles in a row. And look, coming up, these deep wicks. Look at all of these candles have very deep wicks, which shows that we were dipping and then the bulls came rearing back every time, guys. I mean, even though we had a nice bearish dip right here, those bulls did not let those candles dip too far. And I have to imagine, I know they call them like 3 soldiers or something like that. That possibly could be an example of one. But hey, we're very close to breaking that all-time high again, and all-time high 58,250 or whatever, or 350. I would love to see it happen, guys. If we do break that 58,350, we could definitely hit 60K, no problem. But you know what else I see? It's possibly, guys, and I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch, but I don't mind sharing this with you guys. Let's do this and just have some fun. All right, so. Look. Oh, man. Here, let me press shift again. There we go. If you hit shift, it makes it automatically straight. So, look. What I'm saying is, look, we come up. Maybe have another, I know you guys probably already know what I'm thinking of. But, you come back down a little bit after you reach that resistance. And then after that would be a cup and handle, and that would definitely result in probably a 65K, I would say would be the ceiling for that pump. But hey, you never know, it could be higher, especially if FOMO comes into play. I know that a lot of these guys like Mark, the guy that owns the Mavericks or whatever, he's really getting into crypto. I think it's going to get bigger and bigger, guys. These new age billionaires are starting to pay attention. Rothschilds just bought Bitcoin. So hey, You know what? I like to think on my toes. This is a daily chart too. I was thinking it was a 4 hour for a second, but if we do create a cup and handle, we can even beat 65K. I was thinking it was a 4 hour chart, but it's a daily. The daily's more significant, guys, and a cup and handle would be more significant. This isn't a beautiful cup. I mean, I wouldn't want to drink coffee out of it, but hey, it's not what I think. It's not what you think. It's what the market decides. So if everybody else thinks it's a cup and handle, it's a cup and handle. I don't care what you have to say. So you need to always remember that. What do you think it is? That's fine. Keep that in your head. Maybe you're right, but you need to also think. It doesn't matter what I think. What does the market think? Well, the market. I'm sorry, I just knocked my mic over. Let me fix it real quick. That's the whole point of it, guys. What does the market think? Not what you think. It's okay to have your own opinion or whatever, but it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the markets decide and think. So if this is a cup and handle to you, that's great. But what does the market think? That's the way you need to start thinking about things more. Don't think so local. Think global. Think everybody else. What is everybody else gonna think? That is how you become a successful trader. Is the psychology part of it? Is learning. Well, what will these people think of this? Will they think that this is a bullish predicament or bearish? Always think on your toes. Try to put yourself in other people's shoes, and try to think more of a expanded mindset. Like what is everybody else thinking? I've said that numerous times just in the past 5 minutes, but it's very important, guys. You need to think on your toes like that. It's believe me, even though I thought it was a cup and handle, if the market doesn't react to it, then it's definitely not. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's a perfect example of the cup and handle, it always depends on how the market reacts to it. And sometimes it will be a perfect example and it just won't work. These patterns are not 100% foolproof, guys. There's some logic to them and why that they pump. If you read on some of these pages like Investopedia, you can find out the logic to why a cup and handle has bullish results, And if you really want to know, go read up on it. I encourage it, because the more you know, the better off you are in trading, And it takes a lot of experience to get even close to where somebody like Todd Blackburn was, 20 years experience. That says so much, because you've seen the market and what it can do time and time again. Somebody like Todd, he's 20 years into it, so he can just look at the chart and say, this is bullish, this is bearish. He doesn't even need to turn indicators on. I get to that point where I don't really need them, because I can understand what support and resistance is. If you understand what support and resistance is, that's half the battle, in my opinion. You don't even need the indicators if you can do well with support and resistance, in my opinion. But you know what? I like to keep the indicators on, especially for the followers and stuff like that. And it also gives me something else to talk about. And they are helpful. Don't get me wrong. Like I was showing y'all guys earlier, the golden cross versus the bearish cross. Or the death cross, I guess you would call it. But, it's just one of those things that, not every trader is the same. And thank God for that. And, I learned a lot of my skills from Todd Blackburn. But, you know what? I did add my own little flair to it. People like Ash Rulston have also helped me. Here, I'm going to take a drink. And Ernie Bills, they've all been a part of my education. So I guess I kind of meshed all of their styles into one. And, I think that has worked out really well for me. But I'm going to go ahead and end the analysis, man. I'm not even talking about Bitcoin anymore. I get all like this in my course, too. I mean, I do teach, and we do have fun in the lives that I do every Wednesday night. But it's sometimes I do get a little off track, and I'm sorry for that. But anyways, I see I'm bullish right now, guys. And you know what? When I turn bearish, let me show you before we leave. Is when we lose the 4-hour 50 MA. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because it's above the 200 MA right now. And it wasn't like we did go below it a few times over here, but it's just one of those things. The farther up it gets away, the more likely I think we're gonna we'll lose it and then not be able to get it back. We're really I'm expecting a dip, but guys, it hasn't materialized yet. And hey, just because I'm expecting it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. I'm just kind of skeptical because of the way 2018 treated me. So forgive me for being that way. I'm really hesitant to tell people, yeah, go all in, sell your car. No way. Even though I'm a really big fan of Bitcoin, I believe in Bitcoin, I would never tell people to sacrifice their livelihood and, skip rent or whatever. I saw somebody make a post the other day where they said they asked their landlord to give them 6 months leeway for rent, which they would have to pay in the future. But then he invested it in some coin, and it was at the high, and now it's 50% down. It's like, damn, dude. That was a really expensive mistake, and it may end up costing you where you have to live in your car. That would be awful. It's just one of those things, guys. Think on your feet. Don't be stupid. I'm sorry to whoever that was. I'm not calling you stupid. I guess I am, but damn, dude, I feel terrible for you, man. I wish I could help you. But it is what it is. But I appreciate you guys listening, and I hope you guys have a good one, man.